gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show. This is Open Heart Closed Case Night in remembrance of our daughter Shanice Milton, where we focus on public safety, specifically closed case, unresolved cases regarding homicide, teen suicides, child abuse cases, and the like. And tonight, we wanted to do a different switch in terms of public safety. Too many of us have forgotten the importance of police in our lives, and we must admit that there is a virtual war on police. This is not a newfound thing with the recent marching of Black Lives Matter or Antifa. This has been going on for quite some time in this country. And unfortunately, people don't necessarily understand what police go through in a given day and how they are impacted by what they are surrounded by and what they are necessarily not given. And lately, it has been a lack of reverence and respect for their jobs and their duties at very many levels of our society. Tonight, we have with us a very special guest, and I do apologize for mispronunciating the name. It is Lina Maini, forgive me, Lina Maini, who is the founder of Veterans and Police Assistance Agency, VPAA. And what I'm going to do is direct you to the website, which is myvpaa.org, myvpaa.org. You can find out more about the organization and about the great life of Ms. Maini and how she's working to help so many individuals in the marketplace regarding policing and veteran affairs that are often overlooked. Lina, I have to ask you here because a lot of people would want to know, why is it that you chose to be a pretty much an informational resource center for police and for veterans? People would say, well, don't they already have groups that do that for them? The FOP and also the Veterans Administration. What makes your organization so different?
Well, Ken, and I am glad you went head on into that question. And you're right. Why are we here? What is our mission? What makes us different? And I'll explain that. One thing I noticed over the years in dealing with police and other veterans, etc., is that often we have organizations like the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, the VA, Veterans Affairs, etc. But then there are situations where there is no governmental agency or program to help specific needs. Let's say in the case that we're working on recently, we have an Air Force veteran, 12 years in, 8 years as a police officer, and he was off duty and he was attacked, sent into a coma for 2 years. He could not identify his attackers, etc. So he had no benefits, and he has traumatic brain injury.
Wow.
Now he's in need of housing and help with utilities, etc. He has a pacemaker and he has epilepsy. So where does he go for relief?
Wow.
And this is a horrific story. This is what we're working on right now in Pike County, Kentucky. This is just a recent situation that we're working on, and so there are no programs for him aside from we have to then go in. The VPAA is basically the bridge between veterans and police officers and civilian and corporate resources.
Now,
and again, we're no federal agencies or other programs exist.
Yeah,
so what we do is
you're pretty much a buffer for the police and the veterans, because everyone says, whenever there's a problem or issue, go to the government. Go to the government. The government will help you. And that's not always the case. Am I right about that?
That's not always, that's not always true. Because again, in this very specific situation, what is the VA is basically helps with medical situations where it's in terms of giving care. So, but in this situation where the individual has already taken care of, although he will need that medical care for the rest of his life. But what about the real tangible things in life? Paying your bills, having a roof over your head, having food on the table. Where does that come from? From someone who serves, and in his case, both capacities, as a police officer and a veteran. And where does he turn to?
Exactly.
Or, these are the people who fall through the cracks in these systems. And as a society, we can't always turn to the government. That's why people need to, on an individual level, become involved.
Exactly. Lina Maini, there are people out there that say, okay, let me give you the uninformed viewers idea of a cop's life. They live in the suburbs. They have a nice big house, nice big car. They drive into the city. They punch a clock. They don't really care about the community because they don't really live in it. They do their time and then they punch out and they drive back into the suburbs and live a very luxurious lifestyle. Is that the lifestyle of the cops that you know?
Not the lifestyle of any cop I know. And after serving in the Air Force, my brother was in law enforcement for the city of New York. And I can guarantee you that he did not go in, punch a clock, and come back home to a big luxurious house. He came back home to a house that he had to pay a mortgage on, for several decades. An infant when he first began, his son, my godson, was born, and there were many times he missed he missed quite a few things. He missed the baby walking, the baby talking, the first steps, all of that, working many hours around the clock. And if anything, as far as serving the community, we cops don't see things through one filter. That's saying every person who's a police officer sees things through quote unquote a blue filter. That's not true. Why are we dehumanizing police officers? These are men and women, real human beings with real lives. They have the same thing. They have families. They have bills. They have emotional concerns.
Yeah, but and I'm glad you're speaking to this because it doesn't matter what I say. You don't know, Ken. They all shop. They all shop at the nice malls. They got a great lifestyle. They're earning big money, but very few people understand the life of a cop. And I want to talk with you about that. You know better than most people. First with your service to our country and then also your service to veterans who are in the police forces around the country, that they don't leave their job really when they leave the locker room. Am I right about that?
That's something that I'm glad you brought up, Ken, because the lives of cops, while they have the same lives that we all have, again, families and mortgages and emotional situations, etc. But they are different. Their lives are different in that every time, let's say you or I go to work, or anyone in general who's not in that career field, it's a day at work, okay?
Yeah.
With a cop, think about it. Every time she goes out the door, she goes to work. At her job, she's confronted by people in despair or in imminent danger, or who are angry and they're in tense situations. And often, even when the police get there, the people who called them in the first place turn that anger onto the police officer. And can you imagine having to work in that environment day in, day out, and try not to take that home with you, not to see people at their worst, and try not to take that home?
Yeah, Lina.
Well, yes, it is different. I'm amazed that they return to work after day one on the job.
Yeah, I see. That's Lina. That is where I am. I can't imagine getting somebody's body out of a car at 7 a.m. because they've been wrecked, and have to have the saw take the hood off so that they can be pulled out. having to go to a response where someone's been raped, going to another response where someone is beating their kid, and then going to a response for a murder, and then having to stand outside for 12 straight hours to deal with a protest where people are cursing them to their face. God dang, what?
So I'm not trying to glorify the job of a police officer, but neither should we view it as their work is a regular day at the office type situation.
Exactly.
Not at all.
Exactly.
The protests are great. They're fine. They are the basis of who we are as Americans. The right to protest, to speak our minds. Protests are one thing. Rioting is another. And blaming the police for the police don't make the laws. They're there. They're on the buck.
Exactly.
If the population is angry about the laws, come to your lawmakers.
Yes.
Confront them. Your lawmakers. Blaming the police is like blaming the cashier at a grocery store for the price of lettuce.
Very much so.
Seriously.
It doesn't make sense.
They're doing a job to hopefully get you out quickly, safely, and on your way. But if you look at that analogy, really, the police are there to hopefully and often put their own lives at risk.
Yes.
And enforce laws that we put elected officials into place to make those laws.
Exactly.
Why are we angry we should be angry at ourselves?
Exactly. Why take it out on the cop? I mean,
we elect.
It's kind of like an abusive relationship. You take it out on the cop when you're really mad with the politicians. It's just really sick. But why do veterans get into the police forces? Exactly.
Knowing many who cross career like that, I think often veterans get into. Again, it is that sincere desire to serve, and that's why the police force has to serve and protect. The military, we have that same mentality, and also there's also working in an environment where people are trained to. If you think about it, they are trained to trust each other in life-threatening situations.
Yeah.
It's like if I go to work in my office, I don't expect the office manager, to be involved in a physical confrontation, let's say, and every day we're like, okay, you have my back. That doesn't happen in quote-unquote the civilian world. So the transition veterans to police is sort of a natural one. And if you think about it, again, they have to basically trust each other, and they're strangers when they all meet.
Exactly. Lina, there are some people who are just natural to this job. It's just innate. And it's defined as those who run towards the fire rather than run away from the fire. And there are those out there that believe that you can abolish, that you can defund, that you can disband a police force and not be impacted by choosing individuals who would normally run from the fire to provide your protection. Am I right in this regard?
I firmly believe that, I guess on an innate level myself, that veterans, soldiers, service members, and police, that I think they're born. I think you're right on that, Ken.
Yeah.
It takes, there has to be a sort of gut instinct to do that. To basically want to help others, and again, help strangers, complete strangers. It's not like you're running out there, for your family every time, or any time really, but, so, there's that connection to want to serve, so yes, it's innate, and as far as defunding, let's look at what occurs. If the police are defunded, or now they're saying disbanded, okay, so how is that logically going to work? I'm just saying, so someone is, God forbid, being robbed or beaten or etc. So, is the mayor going to run in?
That's a good question.
The deputy mayor? Who? The city council? Let's arm the city council.
That's not going to happen.
Point. As far as evolving as human beings, we're not at the point where we people talk things out in a crisis moment like that. Someone is committing a crime, you actually have to have somebody step in.
Exactly.
So,
Lina, let me ask you this, because along that route of defund and disband and abolish, we know how Camden, New Jersey is working. Not a good selection of choices with that disband, disarm, and all the other things that go along with it. But there are two questions that I have. One is that these Berkeley council members and mayors have the idea that if we send in a social worker who's gotten their training from Brown University or from Townsend State University, you send them in and they will diffuse the situation, and then the police will be able to handle it. To me, on the core, that doesn't make sense to send Barbie doll in there at age 22 trying to talk down someone who's about to beat his wife silly. I don't see that.
Hang on. I think they have that backwards. I mean, first you have to control the situation, and then, of course, bring in resources, social workers afterwards. If the situation calls for that, or in a situation where someone has a drug issue, hopefully put them into programs. But, the first thing, I tend to look at things from a very basic perspective. Okay, so I have a huge leak in my kitchen. I call my plumber. The first thing he does is shut off the water.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So he has to control the situation, and then he has to determine how to fix it. But if he doesn't shut the water off, and my kitchen continues to flood, really, how's that going to work?
Exactly.
So
now I want, Lina, I got to ask you here: are these social workers going to be armed or disarmed? And why would you want to? I mean, they're cops who don't want to do the night role with volunteers who are civilians. Why would you put a social worker with a cop in the first place?
You can't. And, just logically looking at that, you have to be trained in situations that cops face on a daily, think about it, moment by moment, they have to assess entire situations, everyone who's around them, situations that are occurring, and it's nice to look at things from an academic standpoint or after the fact, but you don't have that time to sit there and analyze and have the, a criminal do a 48-question questionnaire on how they were raised and how this impacts on them, or, take a test and see if they're psychologically fit. That doesn't occur in the field.
Wow.
That's
I think it's an absolute.
We have, as human beings, we have a fight or flight reaction.
I think it's absolutely terrible.
To actually restrain that.
Exactly. I'm not calling my social worker to stop dad from punching mom. I'm just not going to do it. Maybe they go to counseling afterwards, but I'm not calling them for that. I'm calling them to control the atmosphere in the home so that people don't get hurt. And I just see that this is a bad system being created by individuals who don't understand what police do, what veterans do in a given day. I got to ask you here, what exactly do the cops want? Because we see down in Atlanta where they're charging a cop who defended himself with felony murder. So by that standard, oh my God, it'd be the worst thing in the world to be a cop. But what exactly do cops want?
Well, it's not even a matter of that situation particularly. I think there's been a rush to judgment, and for the sake of good, looking good in the media.
Yeah.
And sincerely, an investigation has not been done. we haven't seen all of the evidence. No one has, not even the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, the GBI hasn't
Exactly.
investigated. So, but that brings another issue. Why are district attorneys and certain people in the capacity of law enforcement, why are they elected officials?
Great question.
You know, they're more concerned about being reelected than they are about the job in and of itself, doing it correctly.
Exactly. I got.
In an unbiased manner.
I would want you to come back on my program because there are so many issues that we're dealing with here that people are just.
But if you want to know what cops want, Ken,
Yeah.
they just want respect.
Yeah.
Just to go home alive.
There you go. Two basic functions: respect and go home alive. But I want to close out with this particular question here, and I got to get you to come back as we get closer to this time period. But there is word on the street from blue and white shirts, not just in Atlanta, not just in Minneapolis, not just in New York City, but across the country. We're talking about Dallas, we're talking about LA, we're talking about Portland and Seattle, of a threat of a national sick out on the 4th of July. And if you could explain to the American public, what does a sick out look like, and how does it impact those who are the least, the last, and the lost?
Well, I think obviously means that you will have less police officers to respond to situations that are their function. I mean, it's not like they're sitting there, their function is to deliver cupcakes for bakeries. No, they are called in on emergencies that can be life or death. And not just criminal, but, you know, heart attacks, medical situations like that. So you're going to have the communities that need the police the most are going to have slower responses. It's going to cost real human lives. A shakeout will do that.
I gotta.
You know, people don't look at the collateral damage. You know, it's nice to be in front of a TV camera and have your sign and et cetera, but look at your neighbors. Why aren't you concerned about them, about the actions that are leading to police officers? What are their choices? Do we go to work and potentially get charged for with a felony for doing our jobs, et cetera? We want to serve. On the other hand, we're told we can't do our jobs.
Exactly. This us versus.
Ultimately, who gets hurt? A cop can say, you know what, I'm done with this job.
Yeah.
But who gets hurt? The communities do.
Exactly. This us versus them, because we've been watching Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and they have been protesting that it's us versus them, meaning that it's white cops versus the rest of us, and that those white cops are bad cops and they're destroying our community. Is that really the us versus them that we should be worried about?
It's not an us versus them, and especially in New York City, we have an extremely diverse police force here. And from what I understand from the latest statistics, 50% of the police force is comprised of minorities. And, you know, I hate using words like that, like minorities, et cetera, because we're all human beings, we're all the same.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is how facts are, and statistics are collected. It should not be, again, it should not be any group against the police because they're the scapegoats.
Yeah.
It's a matter of it should be all of us, you know, the civilian people and the police against criminals.
Yes.
So that's who the us is, all of us, and the them should be the criminals.
Lina Maini with us tonight. The one big question that's important, because you're from New York, you're Italian. Here's the big question: thin crust or thick crust? Which one is it? Come on now.
I say mine. It is, I do it by hand, I don't even have any measuring tools or utensils. Just what I learned in the home by hand.
There you
So
go.
it's a real. You want to call it a real crust? Call it an Italian crust.
There you go. Lina.
One thing that I do want to
Yes.
mention very quickly.
Yes.
The original genesis also for the VPAA is a veteran family in Andrews, North Carolina, the Trafford family. We started out, and we're still working on it, with then Congressman Mark Meadows on achieving the Purple Heart for Colonel Harry Trafford. He was a World War II veteran, highly decorated, saved the hospital, hundreds of civilians, doctors, and soldiers. And here we are 70-something years later, and he still has been given the Purple Heart.
Wow. How can people
On behalf of Colonel Harry Trafford, we will continue until he is rightly recognized.
how can people support your endeavors, not just with the veterans and police, but also with Harry Trafford? How can people support your endeavors?
Well, we've petitioned the Army for the past 4 years. Somebody needs to call Washington and tell them get on the ball. We've sent them all of the information that they've requested. I mean, we're talking 800 pages of information and records. And they're still sitting there, and they haven't returned an answer to us. And as I said, it's hopefully we could get through again to then Congressman Mark Meadows and have him continue to carry the ball for us.
That would be tremendous. And ladies and gentlemen, especially for those of you who are listening down in the southern states, Carolina, you need to pick up the phone. You need to call your congressman. You need to give Lina Maini the support that she needs to not only do the things that she has to do with the police and with the veterans, but with Harry Trafford and what he did to protect American soldiers and citizenry during battles in Europe during World War II. He is deserving of the Purple Heart. Yes, Lina.
Beyond that, and here's a man who was a very young man in his teens, taught himself to fly, and was a pilot. He taught himself that fighting in World War II, and just kept going back after they destroyed his body almost entirely. He was attacked, and he went right back in and kept fighting.
That's what America needs.
Oh yeah. Someday we hope that everyone hears what we are calling Harry's story.
Awesome. Lina Maini, this would not be the last time you're on. We want you to come back, and we are praying that July 4th will go off without a sick out, but your expertise is definitely needed in the future. God bless you, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for the support of our veterans, our police officers, and people, and Americans. We need to support each other.
Amen to that one. Lina Maini with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. This won't be the last time we have her on the air with us. Trust me in that regard. Her type of expertise you just don't come by. It's a very rare coin inside the fish, and so we're glad we pulled it out. Ladies and gentlemen, we got so much more coming up on this particular night. This is the birthday night for Shanice Milton, from which we created Open Heart Closed Case. She was killed on June 19th, May 27th, 2015. She was born June 19th, 1987. While the rest of the world celebrates Juneteenth, we celebrate our daughter. And if you know of anyone or anything about that particular case, if you would get in contact with the police in Washington, D.C., we greatly would appreciate it. Telephone number 202-727-1000. 202-727-1000, or call 211 and they will dispatch directly to the parties that are necessary. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with more of the best in urban conservative talk. We are a republic, not a democracy. And as well, we are the best in urban conservative news, talk, and movies. Tonight coming up, 1984, the movie. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Hang in there.